Something different, not a pay-per-view special, but it's what happened on my universe mode indie takeover. Yep, it's an indie takeover where instead of a pay-per-view, because there isn't one on this Sunday, we're going to Sacramento, California to show you Rebellion, a special indie show, which is actually going to feature a bunch of WWE people, but it means we've got an extra show to put on, starting with Cole Quinn versus Bryan Danielson, the indie darling. And it was Danielson on the attack to start with a kick to the head, forearm and a missile dropkick before Cole Quinn eventually got a reversal, punched Daniel Bryan, kicked Daniel Bryan and then suplexed Daniel Bryan. Well, DDT suplexed anyway. Cole Quinn nailed Bryan Danielson with a couple of running attacks into the corners before he caught a leg, kicked him in the head again and then hit him with another forearm and a Northern Light suplex. Quinn made this even more back and forth when he caught a Bryan Danielson kick, then kicked him in the head, stomped on his chest, went for another kick, but Danielson caught that one. He turned it into a dragon screw, then locked in a Regalplex, held on for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Bryan Danielson, not Daniel Bryan as I said earlier, Bryan Danielson I tell you, was victorious. She's not debuted yet on NXT, but Shayna Baszler had a match on this show taking on the Hall of Famer Jacqueline. How was this gonna go? Well, it went rather one-sidedly as Shayna Baszler started things off with a big knee to the face, worked on Jacqueline's arm and her back with a snap suplex and a German. Next up, Baszler smashed Jacqueline in the face with a forearm, then hit her with a couple of gut-wrench suplexes that were her signatures. She followed that up with some knees to the head and a spear, and if you're paying attention to the energy bars, just remember, it's really hard to beat Jacqueline. For some reason, I don't know why. She eventually locked in her finisher and made Jacqueline tap out. Shayna Baszler dominant unless you're looking at the energy bars. After the match, Shayna Baszler celebrated, left the ring, and then, well, went back in the ring. She decided she hadn't finished with Jacqueline, so she went in there with a chair and smashed the shit out of her. The referee tried to stop her, but that didn't work. Now it's not just WWE stars you're going to see on indie shows. Why, there's a Minecraft Block Championship, and Steve from Minecraft was competing against The Villager. Things were about to get weird. Just to be clear, I did not create any people from this match or that title. I found them on the community creations after searching Minecraft or Block Championship. Steve and the Villager traded counters at the start of the match, but the Villager finally got control when he hit a dropkick and a running European uppercut. He also hit a superplex, but was then countered out of a rest hold by Steve, who followed that up with a shoulder butt and an elbow drop. With the Villager down, Steve channeled his inner John Cena, said, "You can't see me," and hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, but he followed that up with a move that actually looks like it hurt, unlike the other one, with a power bomb. Following the bomb, Steve went for a clothesline, but the Villager ducked. The Villager went for a German suplex, but Steve was able to power his way out of it and wriggle into his own dirty German suplex, which he followed up with a FU or a AA, depending on your era, and Steve is using John Cena moves and won the match with them. After the match, Steve celebrated and the Villager came up and I guess they shook hands. I can't really tell because their hands are very block-like. Either way, Steve is the new Block Wrestling Champion. Moving on to our next match, it features the Mexican sensation El Mago, who was taking on the veteran Barron Blade. El Mago took the early driving seat in this match, hitting a wheelbarrow bulldog and a dropkick. He went for another dropkick but was dodged by Barron Blade, who hit him with a double axe handle and a fork and arrow. Blade then pounded El Mago with a European uppercut but had his next fist caught and was thrown into the corner, where Mago finally hit his second dropkick. El Mago's momentum remained as he nailed Barron Blade with a Hurricane Rana and a back suplex, but eventually Blade would get the advantage back with a clothesline and then hit him with his finisher knee to the back of the head. He dragged him over to the ropes and pinned him in the most obvious way fashion with his feet on the ropes, and somehow the referee still didn't notice, and Barron Blade was able to get the win, and he seemed pretty happy about it after. Tag team action now as the Hall of Famers, the Rock and Roll Express, were taking on the debuting DLC War Raiders. It did not look like the Hall of Famers on this night were going to have a good time, just like Jacqueline when Hanson went all in with a crossbody on Robert Gibson. He hit him with a couple more moves and then tagged into Rowe, where we got some nice double teamness. However, after Rowe nailed Gibson with a confessional, he left him open for the hot tag, and Ricky Morton came in all guns blazing, first with a shoulder butt, then with a chop, then with another shoulder butt, and a nice little hip toss. Unfortunately for the Rock and Roll Express though, Rowe was able to power out and hit Ricky Morton in the gut. Rowe then smashed Ricky Morton with a belly to belly and a T-bone suplex before tagging back into Hanson. We got more double teamness, a nasty German suplex clothesline combo, and a lovely flapjack into a power slam combo. Rowe then rolled Ricky Morton into a nasty looking knee. He hit Robert Gibson off the apron, hit Ricky Morton with a nasty looking move, tagged into Hanson, who hit a spin kick and a Rikishi driver, and once he disposed of Robert Gibson one more time, went for the pin, and unfortunately for the Rock and Roll Express, the Hall of Famers were defeated. After the match, instead of celebrating, the War Raiders continued their beatdown on the Rock and Roll Express, eventually throwing them out the ring and lifting their arms in celebration. The War Raiders dominating. Time for more CAW silliness next, as we were going to have a Celebrity Deathmatch, which is actually a Falls Count Anywhere match, but let's not get into pedantics. It featured Steve-O of Jackass taking on President Donald Trump. And it would be for the Celebrity Deathmatch Championship. And just to be clear, I did not create any of these myself. I found them on the community creations under the tags Celebrity and Celebrity Deathmatch. Trump tried to get the early hits in, but was countered by Steve-O. Steve-O then punched him several times, threw him against the ropes, did the whole lie down leapfrog routine, but he didn't realise that Trump was just going to stop and clothesline him in the face. And once he'd done that, the leader of the free world chucked the former Jackass star to the outside and grabbed himself a presidential chair, which he proceeded to pile drive Steve-O onto. Trump then presided over another term of chair abuse, but eventually Steve-O reversed, rammed him into the guardrail, rammed him into the ring, sent him back in the ring, threw him in the corner and hit him with a clothesline. Steve-O's offense continued, and just as he was building up a head of steam, Donald Trump was able to dodge a punch and hit him with a takedown. He went and grabbed another bit of weaponry, beat Steve-O down, and then smashed him in the guts with a sledgehammer. He beat him in the back of the head with the sledgehammer and then took him down with a Lou Thez press. Trump smashed Steve-O one more time with the sledgehammer and then hit him with what would be the ultimate insult, apparently Steve-O's own finisher. And then Donald Trump was the Celebrity Deathmatch champion. He lifted the belt and celebrated, and it left us with our main event, which featured Tyler Bate taking on the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne in a match for the United Kingdom Championship. And in this match, the early advantage went to Tyler Bate, who quickly ran at Pete Dunne with a Hurricane Rana. He then put him on the top rope in a Tree of Woe and kicked him in the face. However, this was still early, so Pete Dunne wasn't done. Instead, he elbowed Tyler Bate in the face to counter, hit him with a forearm and then a side suplex. Dunne also hit a snap suplex, but British Strong Style was out in force for this one, as Tyler Bate countered that straight away with a diamond cutter. Bate then hit a few moves, including a butterfly suplex and an arm breaker. He went and kicked Pete Dunne in the back, but that just pissed Pete Dunne off, who got up and hit him with an enziguri. Pete Dunne then hit a couple of big crash landings, first with a sit-out, then as the normal signature version. But Tyler Bate just got up and threw him into the corner, hitting a running European uppercut. He threw him into another corner and hit him with a clothesline to the back. This all led to a massive near fall as Tyler Bate hit his roll forward kick and went for the pin, but Pete Dunne kicked out at 2. Pete Dunne then caught his next kick, hit him with a clothesline, but his forearm was caught by Tyler Bate, who hit him with a knee. Tyler Bate went for a Hurricane Rana, Pete Dunne dodged that and then finally hit the bitter end, went for the pin, 1, 2, 3, and Pete Dunne had retained the WWE United Kingdom Championship. And that's it for this indie takeover of What Happened on My Universe Mode. Back to normal next time with Raw. Like and subscribe.